Welcome back. This is Miss Faye, and this is my world. So, let's talk about these men, okay? I mean, that's an ongoing hot topic, I'd say. So, let's suppose that you suspect your man is on the DL. What do you do? What do you do? If you confront him, he's just going to deny it. You know, he's never going to admit it, because if he were going to admit it, he would just go out and be gay. You see, the DL, he wants to hide. He wants to hide who he really is. You understand? Because he knows that he's doing something against his true self. You see? That's why he's on the DL. He doesn't want anybody to know, but he likes having sex with men. And most likely, he prefers men. So why is he with you? You just a cover. That's all. That's all. You probably are a beautiful woman, because he likes a nice looking woman on his arm, you see, because that makes a better cover. It makes a better cover. So people don't suspect that he sleeps with men. Now, you know, this is a tricky thing, but women, you need to know these things. I'm telling you, because this shit is running rampant. I don't know, I'm having trouble getting this out today, but if you could see, I'm burning trash. I'm burning trash in my grill. That's what I do. I just burn it right in here, and then, whatever. But I want to talk about this because this is serious. This is breaking people in two. In two. You put your love into this man. You take care of him. Nine times he doesn't have a want in the world. You give him sex anytime he asks, anytime you even think about it. So it can't be that. Is that somewhere in his life, he's had sex with a man and he likes it. He actually likes it. And he doesn't want to give it up. You understand? So, what does he do? He doesn't want his people to know. He doesn't want his people to know. So, he plays the role. His whole life is a lie. He plays the role. A lot of them, they even have big, huge weddings and, the whole 9 yards with, the engagement, the everything. A woman is so happy, When in the background, they are sleeping with other men. So you marry this dude, I'm going to check on my fire while we're talking. You marry him, you think everything's cool. Everything's cool because in the beginning, he can sleep with him. I mean, he can be with you. You don't have no problem with sexing you, although the sex may be a little weird. You understand? Because he's either He's either a top or a bottom. Okay? He's either a top or a bottom. So if he's a top, he just likes the feeling of sticking it in the butt. If he's a top, that's what he likes. You see? That's a top. Now, if you with a top, he may show some signs. I think I've been with a top before, because the sex is weird. It's not, you know, if you've been anywhere around and had sex with more than one person in your life, and I'm not encouraging you to do that. I'm not encouraging you to go out here and have sex with a lot of people so you know stuff. Don't do that. That's a very bad idea. But what I want to tell you is these men are playing a dangerous game, a very dangerous game with us women. You see? Now, the down low is usually in our culture, black, because we have such a stigma about, being gays. We've had gays in our community since the beginning of time, I'm sure. You see, but, they just kind of stay with their own people. Stay with their own people. But nowadays, with these down low men, they're bringing that shit home to us. And it's not fair. That's why women are catching HIV and all these other crazy diseases, because men are out here dicking each other. And I know you think that's hard. You find that hard to believe. But believe me, it is happening, and it is rapidly happening. It is rampantly happening all over. And with the young boys, with the pants down, hanging down. Forget what they call it. But that's a signal. You see a young man with his pants down below his butt. It's a signal that he's down with the booty. It came from prison, so that men in prison could tell who was who. You see? So if they was looking to be with a man, they look for one with his pants hanging down. You got it? You understand? So, number one, if you with a man and he acting all, he might be a young man, might be still acting all thuggish, that don't mean shit. Cause if he acting all thuggish, you should be doubly suspicious of his ass. You really should. Don't take it for granted that he's a manly man. Don't take it for granted. You see? And these men that's always going to the gym and working out and staying all day and all, you be leery of that too. Because a lot of these hookups happen at the gym. You don't know he's at the gym. You don't know he's over there with another man. It's crazy. It's crazy. You see? And these people are just going with these terrible urges. You see? And the spirit just makes them go way off. They're destroying their families, destroying you. Because when you find out, you, you're going to be totally, totally heartbroken. Because a lot of times you think he's off cheating with a woman and he's off cheating with another man. And if he's got a good, if he's got a good buddy, especially if he's an older man and he's a married man and he got a pal, him and his pal do all these things together all the time, you better be suspicious of that. You better be suspicious of that. These men are very slick and sly, and they're going out here doing all sorts of things. Now, I do know that in these fraternities that they're asked to do certain things, to pledge and whatever. I don't know if they're introduced to the booty there or before then, or, when they join these teams or whatever. But be careful. Watch your boys. You got little boys at home, you watch them. Don't just let them go off with these men. Like, they have this thing called the Big Brother. And when I was raising my boys, I thought about getting them a big brother, but I just never, made that happen. And now, with everything going on and coming out, I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I didn't. Because sometimes, and I'm not going to say all the time, but sometimes these predators will take these voluntary jobs so that they can be around young boys so that they can molest them easy. You see? So be careful. And oh my goodness, let's talk about the church man. Okay? Let's talk about the church man, especially in the black community. We all about the church. We all about that. All about the church. Then when you found out your pastor been dicking your choir director, how you feel about that? How you feel about that? The church, I'll tell you a little tip. The church is full of pedophiles, liars, cheaters, adulterers, killers, all of that. All of that. The church is full of that because they come there to be redeemed in case they, you understand? In case they die before they can get back, I guess. But yeah, they there to be redeemed. So don't be fooled because a man goes to church and he got his Bible and all of that. Don't be fooled by that. It takes time to really get to know somebody. It really does. And if you're dating somebody, and you might only see them on the weekends or whatever, but you need to be spending time to talk together. You need to see him in different situations, how he handles things. You see? And when you're with him privately, pay attention. Pay attention. Does he really like being with you? Really? Do you feel it in your gut that he really enjoys you? Or is he just going through the motions and making sure that he gets his? Because that's what most men do. They make sure that they are satisfied and they really don't care about you. And if your man has one best friend or a group of friends or whatever, watch their reaction when you two are together in their presence. Because I'm telling you, if he is dicking them or being dicked by them, they're going to act kind of funny with him being with you. Okay? Like a jealous woman would. Like a jealous woman would. You got to pay attention to these things because I'm telling you, these things can go over your head. You don't want to you don't want to believe it. If you are really involved with somebody and you really care for them and you find something out like this, you don't want to believe it. It's hurtful. It's embarrassing. You've introduced this dude to your family and friends, and everything's supposed to be good, and now you find out that he is sneaking behind your back and sleeping with men. And let me tell you, those guys, it's a very slimy world that they are living. It's like they're a double life, but it's a slimy, dirty double life. You know, you think that they just go into the hotel or whatever. No, they go to bathrooms where it's dirty and nasty and stick their dicks to. It's disgusting what these men are doing. And I guess to them, you know, it's the excitement of it, the taboo of it, but it's hurting us women, and we don't need to put up with it. Now, let me help you understand something. You can't stop a man from doing anything. He's going to do what he does anyway, regardless of whatever you do. So I know silly women to get out here and try to follow him and track him and fight off any woman that they think he might be interested in. Believe me, a man is going to do what he wants to do, and you cannot stop him. So you need to give that up and find someone who suits you. Apparently, he is not the one for you if you need to do that. I know when I was when I was younger, it was this fellow that I met in the supermarket. He seemed like a very nice guy, and he asked for my number, and I didn't see a problem with it, so I gave him my number. Okay. His girlfriend or his wife or whoever called me to tell me off about him. I didn't even know who, who she was talking about first because I had only met the guy once and I couldn't even remember what his name was. But you see how silly that is? And she probably said nothing to him, where he is the problem, not me. Quit jumping on women because your man has gone over to talk to another woman. You can't beat off every woman in the world. That's ridiculous. And why would you want to? You're going to spend your whole life beating up women for this man? And 9 times out of 10, this man is going around and sleeping with another man. And you fighting other women because of him? Don't be stupid. Don't be stupid. Don't be stupid. You understand? If you feel that you have to go through these changes for a man, to keep this man in your life, you don't need him in your life. Let him go. Let him go. You want a man who truly loves you. And believe me, love takes time, and people are in such a hurry to say, I love you. I love you. I think men will use it just to get sex. You know, they'll say it once just to get sex, and you might not ever hear it again. Understand? But I'm not talking about every man. I'm talking about most that I've come in contact with. Okay? But the DL man is out here. He doesn't have a sign on his chest or anything that says that he is that. He's an ordinary, you know, he can be ordinary. He can be an executive. He can be, he can be anybody. But he likes sleeping with men, and he doesn't want anybody to know. So he will find him a very nice looking wife and sit her right over here. But somebody who really doesn't ask questions, somebody, they kind of pick and choose who they're with. They don't really want a lot of trouble or somebody outing them or anything like that. So they'll pick somebody who I'm going to say this, somebody who doesn't have self love. I think that's what I'm going to say. Because if you love yourself enough, number one, you won't be sucked in by lust. And usually, a lot of relationships today, that's how they start. They start with lust, and they stay with lust. They never graduate to anything else. And I think that's because people don't spend enough time to really get to know each other. You know, you figure if you're dating somebody these days that you know all he wants to do, he'll take you out to eat, take you to a steakhouse or whatever to eat, and then he's ready to either go to his house or your house and get busy. No, that's not really getting to know him. That's not really getting to know anything about him. You understand? Okay. So understand that this DL thing is basically in the black community because the culture frowns on that sort of thing, you see? But somewhere along the line, excuse me, these men have tried it, they like it, but they don't want anybody to know. Well, now let's get right down to the nitty gritty of it all, okay? They got number one, they have a woman, she's got a butt. What's the deal? What's the deal with that? Unless it's the whole taboo. It's the whole taboo about doing it with another man. You see? The whole taboo of doing it with another man. Now, I could go the spiritual end and tell you what I really think is going on with that. I think it's a spiritual thing, just like narcissism. You see, once this low vibrational spirit attaches itself to you, then it can take full control. Now you know, so certain things you can do to make the spirits have more power over you. For instance, you can drink. If you drink more than two or three glasses of whatever you're drinking and get really intoxicated, those spirits get into you very easily and take control. And before you know it, you'll find yourself doing things that you would not dream of doing otherwise. So you want to say, oh, I was drunk. You were possessed. You were possessed when you did these things. And I think that's what's going on with these men. You see? Because a DL man, some of them were molested as little boys. Some of them. But the spirit did not enter into them until they in their hearts said yes. They they decided, yeah, I'm going to do this. This is what I want to do. See, I don't believe that the spirit goes into a person just because something happens to you in a sexual way. It's only when you say yes, when you say, when you, in a way, you say, you open yourself up to it, like, yes, I embrace it, then you in. He hops on your back and rides you all the way to the end. Do you see where I'm going with this? So where does that leave the women? You laying up here with the devil, and I'll use that term loosely. You see, if he is on the down low, number one, he is not treating you that good anymore. Understand? Because he's torn. He's torn between the two. He's torn between the two. 9 times out of 10, if you're just his camouflage, so nobody knows where his heart really is. You see, after a while, you feel that, or you should feel that, or you're not in touch with him. Maybe you don't care what he does, but you should. If he's a part of you and your world, you should care what he does. But you shouldn't have to worry about what he does. You should have the trust in him that you feel good, that everything is okay. Do you understand where I'm going with this? You should be with that type of person. And that type of person may not be that easy to come into your life. One thing I want to say is I am not religious. I'm a spiritualist. So a lot of things that I'll say will come from a spiritual end rather than a religious end. Okay, let me kind of further explain that. Okay, when I say religion, I'm talking about an organized religion, like Christianity or Buddhism or Hinduism or Scientology. Those are like organized religions. I don't subscribe to any organized religion. My spirituality and it comes from the universe, and all of my decisions are made after my inquiry to the universe. Should I? Shouldn't I? You see? But I wish that I had known the information I know now way back when I was younger. So that's why I started this channel, to try to help somebody so they don't make some of the mistakes that I made, because I wish people had told me, about these things. Number one, a DL man, and I knew nothing about that. Never thought in my wildest dreams that a man would be with me while he's sleeping with other men. It still baffles me. So, but you can say that it was not love. It wasn't love. It was an illusion of love because men on the DL, they don't love you. They do not love you, no matter what they say. They don't love themselves. And that's why they are incapable of loving you. If he's on the DL, you just you're just a showpiece so nobody would suspect that he's gay. You need to pay attention. You need to pay attention. If he's always out with his boy and he's a grown man, he got you and you need to check. You need to open your eyes. You see? How is he when he's with you? When are you all intimate? Is it often or not very often at all or not at all? Believe me, a man, if he is not having sex with you, he's having sex with somebody. Sex is a man's motivator. Believe me, if he is not having sex with you, he's having it with somebody else. Whether it's man, woman, chick, child, he's having it with somebody else. And you need to check that. Don't think that, oh, you all are old and, y'all just don't do that no more. Don't fool yourself, ladies. His old ass is out there having sex with somebody. Don't fool yourself. A man is driven by sex and food. Okay? So don't think, yeah, he old now. He old now. He ain't looking at nobody. I've seen couples that's been together over 50 years. From the outside, everything looks lovely, beautiful, the kind of life you would want. They have all the trappings, everything. But she's decided she don't want to have no more sex with him. Now, not saying that he's on the DL or anything like that. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying if you are not having sex with your man that you are living with, I'm not talking about somebody that, dating, or I'm talking about, right now I'm talking about if you're together, if you're living together, partners, or if you are married, whatever. If he's not sexing you, he's sexing somebody. That's the point I wanted to make. Now, what's funny is in the church, I'll tell you again, yeah, I was brought up in the church. That's why I keep bringing it up, because I know what happens there. In the church, a lot of this underhanded sex stuff happens in the church because a lot of vulnerable people go to church thinking they're going to get freed from their burdens, their life burdens, or get some answers, get some relief in their lives, or feel better about themselves. So they go to church. So it's a lot of broken people and predators in the church, all lumped up there together. So, and women fall prey to a lot of this. And that's why I'm talking about it, because I talk a lot about women taking your own power back, and that's very important. Because when you have power, no matter what he does, it will not break you. It will not break you. Understand? So that's why I talk about women and power. You see? Because you cannot change a man. If that's who he is, if he's a narcissist or a DL man or any of those low vibrational energies, if that's where he is, you can't change that. And a lot of women, because we're fixers, so we think that we can build him, bring him in, wash him up, dust him off, and make him an upstanding person and all of that. Now, on the other hand, some of these men pick women to do that for them. To do that for them. And a lot of times when they get to the place of where they think they ought to be, they'll leave her and go to what they really want. I've seen that too many times. Too many times. You see? I've seen women with these men, help them build their careers and everything. Once they get it, not only do they leave them for another woman, they'll leave them for another man. So you can't bank your life on what a man is going to do or what a man is going to be. You can only bank your life on what you can do. On you can do for yourself. You have to build your own. Don't rely on him, no matter what he does, no matter what he has. But DL men, unfortunately, in the black culture, are everywhere. And the rap, the hip hop community is adding to it. Adding to it. And now it's all over TV. You see? Showing these black men, yeah, it's okay. But you know what I say? It's better if they just come out and be gay. And leave us women out of it. Leave us women out of it. Just be gay, whatever. Times have changed from older days or whatever. But don't do that to the women. If you prefer men, go ahead, do your thing. Whatever. Understand? But don't destroy women doing it. Now, on the other hand, the narcissist plan is to destroy you. His plan is to destroy women. He don't like them. He doesn't like women. He doesn't love himself. He doesn't love you. But he will use you for his benefit. Totally for his benefit. And you can live a whole life with a narcissist and just grow accustomed to his way and think everything okay, But because narcissists don't love themselves, that's why a lot of them will sleep with men. They'll go anywhere where they can get the supply that energy supply that they need. They would go to any source to get it. But then again, that's an evil spirit that has attached to them that just takes control. It just takes control. You know, like we see on TV and we look at these movies and we get frightened, the exorcists and all that shit, with the head turning around and let me tell you something. You see evil spirits every single day of your life and you don't recognize it because it's coming in a form that you're used to. They don't have it, they don't need to scare you. No, they don't need to scare you into submission when they can take over your whole existence and have you do their will, which is to destroy. So the DL man, he think he's just having fun, you see. He think he just, the taboo, the excitement of, sneaking around behind your back and, getting drunk and then with another meal and he got a secret, it's just very, very exciting to some people, the taboo of it. Now on the other end, the spirit that's going through this, you see, the spirit gets more energy when you do things that are taboo. You see? Just like if you went out and you robbed a bank. So much energy into that. Energy that the low vibrational spirit is eating that up. But that's the same thing with a man on man, woman on woman. It's the energy that the spirit enjoys. They call a succubus, incubus. It's a spirit. It is a spirit. If men would realize what's really going on and give up this nonsense that they can go to church and get forgiven, I'm gonna tell you, your God that you worship may forgive you. He may forgive you, but you're still going to pay for it. You're still going to pay. The law of the universe says you're going to pay. When the karma wheel comes around, it's going to pick you right up in it. And you can't get around that. That's the law of the universe. It has nothing to do with what your God said in some book. People, you need to wake up to see what's really going on. And ladies, check your man out thoroughly to make sure, if you can, that he is not going around sleeping with other men when he's not with you. And I'm going to tell you, it don't have to happen at night. He can do it right in broad. He can leave your house on a Saturday afternoon and come back at night. Where his ass been all day? And doing what? You understand? Because maybe, he ain't around there helping you. I think you need to check that. And he's in all these groups and meetings and shit with other men and all that. Okay. Well, I'm only sharing with you what I know. I'm no expert on it, but I have experienced these things, and it's hurtful. It's very, very devastating to find something out like this when your heart is involved in it. Okay? Sometimes these things are unavoidable. And the life is all about lessons and blessings. So if something like this happens to you, it's a lesson that you needed to learn, to be aware of, to see the red flags in the beginning. If somebody else approaches you that may have this spirit attached to them, at least you can recognize some signs early and close your legs and don't sleep with nobody right off. You know, don't do that. You know, everything is about, even on TV, they advertising. Soon as you meet somebody, you go to bed with them. You know, and then you try to get to know them. That's flipped backwards. That's flipped all the way backwards. You get to know the person. You try to know them long before you try to sleep with them. You see, we all got it wrong. And this way, you can probably avoid some of this deception. You see, DL men are not born this way. They're not born, I'll say gay. They're not born gay. Something happened in their lives, whether traumatic or not. Something happened, and then they said yes to the entity, which means that if they really want to change, the change comes from within. They have to decide that they don't want to do it anymore. They don't want to do it anymore. And then they can change and not accumulate any more karma because of it. You understand? Not accumulate any more karma from doing this deed. That's how they can turn their whole lives around and see only good things happening in their life. Because men on the DL, you can't be happy when you're living a lie. There's no happiness in living a lie. So these men need to just come out to everyone that they're gay, leave women alone, or change from within to be your true self, which is a heterosexual. Okay, so how do you get what you want? The kind of man that you want. How do you get him? Now listen to me carefully. You have to be what you want for the universe to bring you that. You have to be it. Okay? So you can't be out here being a hoe and then get mad when the universe sends you a hoe. You understand? You have to be what you want. So if you want somebody who's upstanding, straightforward, and honest, and all of that, you have to be that yourself. And a lot of that comes with the self-love. Love yourself. Don't be disrespected. Don't let anybody disrespect you in any way. Don't bow down just to get along. Stand up for yourself. You see, the DL man doesn't really want that type of person because that type of person he can't handle. Remember, it's spiritual. So the spirit wants somebody that, you know, that won't cause any problems. So, anyway, I hope that I've said something that can help somebody on this journey of life. You see? And don't get me wrong, I know, I'm pretty sure it's some very, very nice men out there, very uh, trustworthy men out there because they've learned to control themselves. It's not that the urge isn't there, it's that they've learned how to control themselves. But that comes with maturity. And unfortunately, a lot of men never mature. They stay little boys, just doing whatever the urge tells them to do. So I think I'm going to end right now. And I really hope to see you again. And thank you so much for watching this video. Bye for now.